Hi, I'm Sèphera Girón, and I guess I'm just gonna hop on the bandwagon like a lot of other people with my first impression thoughts of The Last Jedi. I saw it on Thursday, December the 14th at 6 p.m. in 3D with its Super AVX sound and all that. I've seen the movie once. I've had a few days to think about it, and I've also written a blog about it. First of all, I just want to start off saying that I really enjoyed the movie. My first impression on leaving the theater was that was a fun ride, it was a good adventure, and all that. So I just do want to say from the beginning that it's just really mind blowing entertainment. I love 3D, I love, the shooting and special effects, all that stuff. That stuff was amazing. Now, I, have spent the last few days reading just dozens, if not hundreds, of comments of other fans like me. I should say that I have been a fan forever for Star Wars. I actually saw Star Wars opening day, the day it opened, back in May 1977. My brother and I, we had seen the commercials and trailers, and we like science fiction movies and stuff. So we were really looking forward to seeing Star Wars. And we stood in the line, and they handed out "May the Force be with you" buttons and all that stuff. And we were not disappointed. We sat in that theater and our minds were blown. For me, it was, hyperspace was like really cool. The sound was really cool. We saw things we had never seen before because, that was before Star Wars took over the world. And, future generations after that, after me, have never known a world without Star Wars things in it. Even people who have never seen a Star Wars movie know that there's a Star Wars and so on. It really became a thing. Um, I saw that first movie over 27 times that year. No mean feat in the 70s because you had to line up and go back in. Sometimes the ushers would just let you sit through and see it again. Anyway, so I come from Star Wars with that perspective. I read some of the books back, when that first Star Wars came out. I wrote a little bit of fan fiction because I was, 14 or 15 back then, and, wrote a few stories based on Luke. Luke was my favorite character. I loved Luke so much. I had pictures of Mark Hamill on my wall. Most of my friends liked Han Solo better. I liked Luke better, and so on. So that's kind of the perspective I come to it from. So I grew up, got married, had kids, and the kids and I went to see the prequels. The kids were young. I remember sitting through. I remember being really excited for Darth Maul, buying the watch and stuff, and then I was really pissed off when he just like came on, got cut in half, and that was the end. I was like so bad. I hated Jar Jar with the passion of 1,000 fiery suns. Oh, I hated him, but I wasn't alone in my hate for him. For me, the reason why I hated him is because I don't have a lot of patience for cutesy sidekick characters. I don't. Even though, I love R2D2 and C3PO and stuff, but Jar Jar was just yikes, yikes. Um, and I remember leaving one of the movies, and I was probably the third of the prequels, where I just said to one of my sons, who was probably like 8 at the time, I'm just like, there's too much war in Star Wars. But you look back because they've been running all the things on TV, and I'm like, wow, Anakin, Darth Vader, whatever, he's chopped in a million pieces like the friggin' knight in Monty Python, and that's gross. It's horrible, and yeah, there's a few things in Star Wars, so I get really mad coming into 2017 where I see people talking about it. Oh, it's a YA flick and all this. It's for the kids. And even, in recent years, seeing, little children dressed up like Kylo Ren and stuff, I still came to Star Wars as kind of an adult vision and not seeing it as a little kid movie. I see it, you know, much like how I view horror and other types of science fiction things as like a mature 10-year-old or whatever, someone who, you know, goes through the maze to see these adventures. Like, you know, I was an early reader. I read very adult books when I was like 11 or 12, but I had built my way up to that. And so I felt like a lot of Star Wars kids, you know, built their way up. But now in modern 2017, anyone can be anyone, right? So when the Force Awakens reboot happened, I wasn't that excited to see it because I was still pissed off at the prequels. But I really wanted to see what happened to Luke. That was the main reason I went, was because I wanted to know what happened to Luke. Um, After all these years, you know, why weren't there more Luke stories? Where did he go? What's happening? And then we know how The Force Awakens ended, and I was really pissed off. I was sad, depressed, pissed off for 2 years. I was in a super anxiety mode for about 2 years, wondering what happened to Luke. I know he's a fictional character and all that, but as I've told you, I've lived Star Wars my whole life. You know, Star Wars hit me as a teen, and it was Luke's story to me always. It was always Luke's story, even the prequels. That's how Luke came to be to me. Um, I had the pleasure of staring at Mark Hamill for a few days when he came to Toronto for Fan Expo. I was too afraid to actually talk to him. I didn't have $200 to get his autograph or picture or whatever, but because I was working in the same building as him, so I was reading tarot at Fan Expo that year, I'd leave my booth and go stare at him and then run back. So I was really excited to see The Last Jedi. I've spent a lot of time wondering about what's going to happen and so on. So, as a writer, because I am a professional published author, I know that writers can do whatever the fuck they want with their stories. And that's also, I knew that Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams are huge Star Wars fans, so they're gonna come to these movies with love and you know, dealing with our iconic heroes in a positive manner. And I believe they both succeeded at that. I do. I don't. You can say what you want. I love J.J. Abrams' use of light and stuff. Other people say it's overdone, but I didn't see all those Star Trek movies. I didn't see all those other movies that people say he's ripping off from himself or whatever. I saw The Force Awakens. First time I saw it, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too sure if I liked Kylo Ren, but as I thought of Kylo Ren more, you know, now I'm right in love with Kylo Ren. I love that character a lot, and so I was very happy that he was invented. I like the fact that he's not a perfect villain yet. I like that he's evolving. So when it came to the new movie, I was really excited to see Luke. So, you know, we open with Luke, Ray handing the thing to Luke, and he whips it away. And I laughed, and I'm like, that is such a Mark Hamill thing. That is such a Saturday Night Live thing. And even now, I'm of two minds of that, because it did set the tone for, yeah. And I caught it right away because I am a writer myself, that, yeah, okay, Ryan's telling us that he's throwing away everything we ever knew about Star Wars, and he's doing his thing his way, and screw you, right? So, and that's fine, because it's his movie. He got the job to direct and write this movie. None of us did, so he can do whatever the hell he wants because it's his gig, and that's fine. And like I said, it's a great movie, nothing like that. However, I did feel like the throwing away the lightsaber and some other things, they felt more like Saturday Night Live skits. I felt like, you know, when Kylo Ren was undercover boss on Saturday Night Live, that was the funniest thing ever. And actually, it's one reason why I really connected to Kylo Ren, because when I saw that undercover boss skit, I'd only seen The Force Awakens, I think, once or twice. And then it really solidified. I got to understand his character more. So to me, it was helpful that they had that undercover boss skit, because it was like, oh, I get Kylo a little more. I do. However, in The Last Jedi, that's not Saturday Night Live. It's the iconic movie with our iconic people. It's part two of a three-part story. So I was of two minds of that. Part of me, it's like, yeah, that's great. Like Luke's like, screw you, yeah, whatever. The past is past. We're moving forward. We're having new dreams. But on the other hand, my 15-year-old self wanted Luke to go, oh my God, is there a hand with that? Or or how did you get that? What's the story? And maybe we'll finally hear the story. But we don't know the story because Maz didn't tell Ray the story of how she came to get that lightsaber, and we may never know, but I have a feeling we'll find out in the third thing because J.J. Abrams is back, so he's going to fill in all those blanks that Ryan threw away. I have a lot of confidence with that. But on the other hand, it kind of pisses me off that we're just round robining this story. Everybody's just making shit up as they go along, and that disturbs me a bit too, because I sort of liked the idea of the story preconceived. I guess when Carrie Fisher died, it's all thrown out the window anyways, that Hal had to be changed. So Luke throws away the the lightsaber, and that's fine. I'm doing this stream of conscious. I don't have notes. I probably should have had notes. But no, I just wanted to say a couple of things. And so I did not like Luke milking that friggin' space cow. I did not like that at all. And yes, I'm a horror writer. Yes, I love Luke. Yes, I like sex. I like all those things. I did not like that scene. I did not like Luke doing that. Yes, there's always, as my son pointed out, there's always crazy, weird characters in Star Wars doing rude, disgusting things, but I think it maybe one of the nuns or something should have milked the creature, not our Luke. And I still wanted Rey to be Luke's daughter or Luke's niece, either Kylo Ren's sister or whatever. So, yeah, I'm just going to talk about that. I didn't like how Luke didn't really deal with Chewbacca. Didn't comfort him over Han's death. Does he even know Han's death? I guess. I only saw the movie once, so I have to go back when I'm not all overwhelmed and crying and freaking out and all excited after 2 years. Go back and watch it with a clear head. But yeah, I again, Chewie just felt like an afterthought, just like in The Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams did comment on how, he realized he screwed up the scene where Leia runs by Chewbacca and doesn't see him. He just said because the scene was so big and busy, and he didn't realize that he didn't actually get a shot, and the fans are mad, kind of thing. Anyways, so now the fans are mad that Luke's not dealing with Chewbacca. Yeah, so for me, that was kind of part of it. And again, I wanted my iconic characters to be more involved. I didn't like the sub story of Rose and Finn going off and doing things. I felt just only because this movie's already so long. It's a fine story, we get to know them better and all that, and their little relationship, but the movie's only 2.5 hours, and we only get one movie every 2 years because, if we had a TV miniseries like American Horror Story and we could watch our Star Wars every week, they could do all kinds of shit, and it's too bad they never did that. With Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, back in the 90s or 2000s when they were still young enough and alive enough to do things and maybe have some little side stories of what they've been up to, and that instead of like the huge big budget movies or whatever. But those, it's done. And I haven't read all the thousands of books and comics and stuff. Because to me, it's like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, those are my peeps. So, yeah, so anyways, so that's kind of like my quibble was I didn't really like, part of me loves how they handled Luke. I like the fact he's a crazy asshole. I like the fact he tried to kill his nephew. I loved all that a lot because I know over the years Mark Hamill's always wanted Luke to like embrace the bad side, the dark side, and that is the dark side. He was tormented. I felt they should have spent more time showing Luke's spiral into madness. I should have looked up before I did this video. What is the goddamn timeline? How old is Kylo Ren? Because in The Force Awakens, I thought Kylo might be like 29 or 30, but he was acting like an 18-year-old, but it's hard to say because Adam Driver's in his 30s. But Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens looked much older than Rey. So I figured they couldn't be twins, they couldn't be brothers, I figured all those theories were shot to hell because they didn't seem like they'd be twins, like apparently some books they are. Yet in The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren looks very young. They made him way younger. Rey actually looks a little older, but now we could definitely have the twin or brother sister theory, whatever. Love Kylo, romance, whatever. Um, so I don't know how old Kylo is, so therefore I don't know when Luke tried to kill him and how many years Luke's been upset about it. We don't know. Was Kylo 12? Was he 14? Was he 18? How old is Kylo today? The Last Jedi is still the same day or the next day or whatever. Like, we're still, like, within a couple of days. It's not like any time has passed. People haven't grown up and thought about things or learned about things. So that's why we don't see the Knights of Ren, because everyone's still, like, in the middle of the same battle. So, it makes sense we didn't learn about Knights of Ren and some other stuff we wanted to know about because they're not there yet. They're still running and shooting and dealing with their crap. I wanted. I should say, like, people are saying, oh, there's too many women in Star Wars and, it's all these women. But as, that young girl who saw Star Wars opening day, Princess Leia was there all along. They haven't added new women. It's like Princess Leia, like the first time we see her, she's mouthing off to Darth Vader. She's grabbing the gun from, her rescuers and shooting the hell out of stormtroopers. Like, she's badass. She's always been there. We didn't need Rey to bring up the women quota. We didn't need all these Phasma and Laura Dern's crazy character. I don't even know who the hell she was, because it's too much happening in a short movie, right? But anyways, yeah. So as a woman, I always felt like Leia was there for us all along. Just people didn't see her. Maybe, I don't know. It's like I said, she's been there since 1977. Like, we've always had a strong woman character in Star Wars. Always. She's always been there, and she's always been a badass. I mean, she friggin' kills Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, and every time I turn around, she's picking up a gun and shooting someone. So she's badass. So don't be saying, oh, Rey's the new Star Wars. It's like, Leia was there all along. So that's just kind of where I'm at, because as a woman, I noticed, right? So I didn't really like the Space Leia thing, but I have a feeling when I see the movie again, I'll like it more. I think because all of us, I think we're struggling with those scenes because we know Carrie Fisher has died, and she does look dead, and it's emotional and upsetting and all that. But Carrie Fisher did a good job. There were a couple scenes where I didn't think she did the greatest job, but she's older, she's older than me, and that's another thing I wrote in my blog, actually, that Luke and Leia are actually younger than I am now. My age now in real life. These characters are supposed to be younger than me, yet they felt like my grandparents, if I had any. Like, they felt like so old. I'm like, who are these old people wandering around? Like, I'm ready to pick up my sword and go, yeah. So that's just life. And I'm still of two minds about the ending. I'm still of two minds about what happens to Luke. Part of me loved it because now he's everywhere and he can help everyone go to the light. He's trickling through the universe with his Force energy, and the little stable boy now can be that too. And maybe the stable, who knows? Abrams may do a whole thing. The stable boy's connected to Rey. That's the brother that the parents sold off, and he's hanging in the stable. Whatever. I still think Kylo Ren is lying about Rey's parentage, even though Rian Johnson said no, Rey really is a nobody, and that's it. And the modern day people and the modern day attitude love this idea. Me, old school Sèphera, I'm like, but I want it to be a Skywalker story. It's a space opera. Space opera means, it's a story about a specific family and how they fuck things up. Whether you're talking All My Children or whatever, there's always like the dynasty families, and this is their thing. And yes, we have Kylo Ren, the last Skywalker that we know of. But I still think Rey is something. And I don't feel like the Force is exclusive. It's just we have to learn how to use our powers. Like witches have covens where they train and learn how to use their powers. The Force, sure, anyone can use it, but you still have to focus it. You still have to know what your point of it is. Someone has to tell you how to do that, right? You need a teacher. I felt it went very Disney with that idea that anyone can be anything, because that's what most Disney movies are. It's like wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are, anyone can anywhere can do whatever the hell they want, right? Um, which has always been the Disney motto, and now Star Wars has that. So the Force isn't an exclusive trained thing that you can master and become good at, and it takes talent and energy, and you may screw it up, and or you may be really good at it. You may use it for the wrong reasons, whatever. But now anyone can use it, and but that could change in the third one too. We don't know. So there's a lot of unknowns, and that's why I'm so torn about all of it. Because, yeah, sure, like any religion, any of us can levitate, any of us can do this. Yet, on the other hand, why not have the Force be a special skill? It's not just for moving rocks. Anyways, I felt like it was very messy, I guess. Finn had a bit of the Force, but I don't think they dealt with any of that. But like I said, I was really overwhelmed. Rey, her Man of La Mancha Hall of Mirrors scene was very cool. And I like the fact that it didn't have a resolution, because doesn't have a resolution. Um, I loved all the stuff with Kylo Ren and Rey and the Force, their mind stuff. That was vintage Star Wars, and I wish more of the movie had been like that. Yeah, and like I said, I felt it was weak that Luke fought Kylo as a hologram. I'm still of two minds about Uncle killing his son, and killing his nephew and uncle facing off. But of course, Star Wars has always been father son, blah blah blah. There's always been a family issue. Dinner at Star Wars has never been a good time. Anyways, so I say that. Like I said, it's very entertaining, very good. I was disappointed with some of the revelations, but it's not my story and it's not my movie. It was Johnson's vision and Johnson's movie. He did an excellent job. He didn't squander the money. You can tell he loves his characters, but he loves his new characters more than the characters that brought us all into this world. And I felt like, yeah, I guess it's a respect. I don't know. I need to see it again, and I just need to get over it. That Luke didn't go the way I wanted him to, which he says himself anyways. The minute we meet him, so I already knew that he threw away the lightsaber. The story isn't going to go. Yeah, they told us right up front that this is not the Star Wars we're looking for, and that's fine because everyone's allowed to have their vision. Yet on the other hand, it would have been cool to have had some resolution after 40 years of Luke and Leia and Han. It would have been nice to have had them together one last time, even if Han's a Force ghost or whatever. I still wanted to see Leia give Kylo Ren shit. I really loved the Leia Kylo mother son stuff too. That was good. As a mom, I really liked that. Anyways, yeah, so those are just my babbly thoughts on Star Wars. I'm just adding to the fray because I haven't seen many women commenting on this on YouTube. I see a lot of men talking about things and petitions and it should be banned or whatever. But I just wanted to talk as one of the original Star Wars nerdy girls who have been on this ride for 40 years. My point of view and what I expected or didn't expect. Okay? Anyways, feel free to give your comments, and I'm going to see it again, probably a few more times, and then I'll have different perspectives and comments too. Anyways, have a fantastic day, and thank you for listening to my rants.